How's it going, Chumpy? My name is TB and welcome back to another video. In my last episode, I went over the Bright Lord Legendary set, and there seemed to be a pretty good reception for that kind of video. A lot of you were saying in the comments you wanted me to do the rest of the sets, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. So, of course, as you've read by the title, this is going to be an overview and some gameplay for the Vengeance set. Of course, you acquire this from just doing online vendettas. And overall, it's a very interesting set. It has a bit of an interesting sort of trade-off, but of course, I'll go into that in detail in the gear section. As you see on the screen here, we've got a little bit of a zoom up, a close up on the actual armor itself. It looks very, very similar to the Nazgul set. In fact, I think it is actually like the same armor shape. However, the color is of course slightly lighter. There is actually like a green sort of cloak sort of vibe that goes on within it, but that's about it. Other than that, it looks very, 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 very similar, pretty much, to the Nazgul set. It does look fairly cool, and it is an interesting armor set, certainly. It has a very jagged sort of sword, and it does make you look very, very cool. And effectively, if you want to have this sort of evil Talion look going before you reach the end of the game, then the Vengeance set is probably the best way to do that. Effectively, after I've done this one, I'm going to be doing the Outlaw and then Slaughter Tribe sets. Like, I'll be doing those sets next, and then I'll go into the base game ones, probably starting with Feral or something. So, without further ado, I'm going to skip straight into the analysis of the gear and how I would personally run it. And, yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Alright guys, let's get into the gear analysis for the Vengeance set. So starting things off, we have the level 80 Sword of Vengeance. As you see there, 169 damage again, and of course, we have a blade designed by someone who craved vengeance. It's the same description for all of them, it's a bit naff. But, as we see here, melee damage increases by 33% when health drops below 35%. It's pretty cool. I mean, typically this would be a pretty bad effect, but considering what the set bonus is, which we'll cover in a minute, this is quite strong. And 10 might gain when striking a dazed captain. Very, very good. If your captain is dazed, you can just get some insanely fast might gain, though to be fair, when you're playing on brutal difficulty, or you're using fatal might, this isn't as good, but you know what, it's still very strong. Moving on, we have the Dagger of Vengeance, 1300 damage. And this is quite an interesting one. We have a stealth damage increases by 33% stuff, and when we're below that 35% health sort of pool. However, it doesn't have a secondary effect, and if we were to go on to this and try and add one, we can't do anything to it. We can't even destroy it. So, it's a very interesting dagger in that regard, but I'm not sure why it's missing an effect. I have a strange feeling they had an effect in the game. It didn't work, and they removed it, but then of course it just glitched out this legendary set because I got this maybe before they did the update or something. I don't know. Either way, I have no idea why it doesn't have a secondary effect, so other than that, the dagger is pretty awful. Moving on, we have the Longbow of Vengeance. This one is in fact a longbow, so therefore it's going to be doing extra damage than like a regular bow. And this of course gives range damage increase when we drop below that health. And this one gives 5 might gain on critical hit. Again, quite strong, but if you're playing on brutal difficulty and you're using fatal might, it's not a big thing. It's got 13 elf shot, so it's on the higher end of the spectrum, so it's quite strong. And of course, it is a long bow, so therefore you'll be able to hit multiple targets, and therefore your crowd control using this bow is much better. Then we have the Armor of Vengeance. This is, of course, increasing all damage dealt by 15% when dropping below 35% health. And this is giving me health recovery per captain kill. It's pretty good. 250 isn't like the best, because as you see, 250 is pretty much a third of your health because you see there, maximum health is 242. So it's pretty much. No, of course, it's a bit less, but it's just over a third of your health. So it's not too good, but like, you know, it's still a good effect, I suppose. Moving on, we have the Cloak of Vengeance, and this of course gives you increased damage in general, just like the armor set. And this one increases the like your resistance to fire. Eventually, it reduces the total time it lasts. So therefore, if you're using this alongside Warmonger stuff, this is actually not what you want. If this reduces the damage of fire by 80%, then that would be better. But because it just reduces the duration, it's not as good. And then finally, we have the Rune of Vengeance. This one also increases all damage generally, just like the cloak and the armor. And this one gives draining or dominating enemies, it recovers 100% more health. This secondary effect is incredibly useful for this effect, and that is because of the set bonus. This entire set, once you have 2 pieces, allows you to perform attacks requiring might, so executions, consumes, elven light, by consuming 40% of your health instead. And then if you have 4, you can effectively do any range attack by consuming 25% of your max health. and I do believe that is 25% of your max health per elf shot that you use. So if you use a Shadow Strike with 0 elf shot, you're actually taking 50% of your max health. So as an initial look at this armor, from grinding up and using it, it's strong, but then not really. It's very, very similar to the Slaughter set in regards to you're sacrificing health in order to get damage, and it's just a bit more sort of, I guess, straightforward in that regard, I suppose. The additional ability to use might, is using 40% of your max health, I think is completely useless. 40% of your health for 1 execution. Well, if you're playing on brutal difficulty and you're using fatal might, that's 3 attacks, and you can already get that back again. So I feel like that isn't a good trade-off. And what I often end up doing is when I'm attacking someone and I see someone coming in and I have to counter it, the game ends up thinking I'm doing a resurrection ability. And although that does protect me from the attack, because it makes you immortal, but what happens is I end up using that ability even though I don't have the might, and therefore I end up taking my own health away, which is a big problem. In terms of how I would run this set though, I think if you wanted to take advantage of the 4 out of 4 set bonus, I would get rid of the Dagger. As you see, it's almost completely useless. I would swap it out for either the Threshing Dagger, which gives you a nice explosion, or maybe the Outlaw Dagger, because that increases your critical hit chance. And then of course when you have the bow, that's pretty solid. The armor piece is the sort of iffy one as well. I would also swap this one out. Of course, if you wanted to take, say you wanted to take the stealth Nazgul Dagger on this one, then you could take the Blackened Servant's armor instead, because I think that would be superior. So, and there you go. I think, yeah, I pretty much take the Servant's Blackened armor. The cloak here, although it's the damage dealt increase is very strong, I feel like the secondary effect isn't worth taking the cloak. Just like in my last episode where I was talking about how the sword choice is always very difficult, the cloak is also another situation, because when you can have this cloak, okay, it reduces the fire, that's really it. But then you can just swap this out for the Mask of the Undying, which I will preach to the end of my life that is the most overpowered thing in the entire game. You get more damage bonus just from using your dashes, and of course fire isn't really a big problem. And effectively the Mask of the Undying makes you immortal and is incredibly overpowered. So what I would like to do is I'd run the Mask of the Undying with this. The ring I would keep, because draining and dominating enemies recovering more health, that's a good idea. The armor, I would keep just because I want to keep that sort of set bonus going. And I would like to swap out the sword for Humiliator. But in this situation, I don't think it's quite worth it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out this dagger for the Blackguard Dagger. Now, of course, because we're taking an Outlaw and Nazgul set, unfortunately we cannot take advantage of getting 2 Outlaw pieces. And so therefore we won't be able to get the 25% chance to inflict fire, poison, frost, whatever. But that's not a big issue. In terms of the actual Nazgul set, the set bonuses for that are completely useless, so it's not a big problem that we're only running one of those. And so that is how I would run this set. Though if you wanted to be safer when you're using this set, I would suggest swapping out this gem for a lifesteal, because therefore if you're ending up using a lot of executions, you won't end up just killing yourself. But because your man's an absolute ledge man, he just uses all damage because we're a complete sweat. So anyway, that is how I would run this set. Of course, it doesn't exactly match up aesthetically, because of course the armor is more brighter than the actual Servant's Blackened armor. But really, you can swap out all of these armor pieces to your own ideas. You know, if you want to go, but I want to have the Threshing armor, then you can put that on. It's just up to you, really. But this is how I would personally run it, if you wanted to take advantage of the 4 out of 4 set. If I wasn't trying to take advantage of that 4 out of 4 set, and I just wanted to go for the 2 out of 2, then I would get rid of the sword and the armor as well. So, yeah. Keeping the bow and the ring are pretty much good to go. I would keep those, they're very strong. And then, of course, keeping the sword as well is sort of a good idea. But usually, when you swap it out for Unlimited Might, it's not as good. But this is the build I'm going to be running for in the gameplay that you're going to see in about a minute. I'm going to be running through a quick siege in Gorgoroth. So have fun looking at that. I'll come talk to you guys in a minute. So have fun looking at the gameplay.
place like this. You look upon a mighty stronghold held by defenders who are more than warriors. They are butchers, experts in the preparation of delicious meats, and their sweetest, most succulent fare is going to taste an awful lot like you.
Just give the order, boss. We'll start tearing them up.
Not sure what we'll find in there, but I'm guessing it will be scrumptious!
Make 'em pay!
You will taste the flames, and they will taste you. You won't take me so easily. Oh no! You won't get me that way! You're... Get it! Ready to go!
A few steps towards victory, but many more remain. And the next one is the toughest yet. Getting through me. Get back here!
Fall to your knees! You will serve.
I swear to serve you! Serve you! For you, Master!
Someone help me!
Useless blade of yours around, my troops will be ripping yours to shreds. Come on, Tark. Time to show you how we hold our ground.
Trick!
I killed you once, but I made one mistake. Not stuffing you to decorate this fortress. Now I get to correct that oversight. This fortress was my doom, and soon it'll be yours.
The gains made by the Lord of Mordor are small and fleeting. We are the power in Mordor, and we are forever!
Okay guys, that was the siege using the Vengeance set. As you saw there, I ended up having to drain a lot of like grunts in between fights because I was taking advantage of those extra executions you get from sacrificing your health. And overall, my general gist of the armor set is that it's okay. I won't use it, certainly. I certainly won't use it over like the Nazgul set or pretty much any other one really. It's sort of just, it's one that you just sort of have there, and if you want to just sort of have that accessibility for the extra elf shot and stuff, then it's certainly an armor set for you. But overall, I don't think it's that strong. But yeah, pretty much, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that other fancy stuff. Of course, as I said at the beginning of the video, my next 2 episodes will be the Outlaw and then the Slaughter Tribe sets, and then I'll be going into the base game, like the 7 base tribes. I think there's 7. So yeah, pretty much guys, leave down in the comments below what tribe you'd like me to do first, because otherwise I'll just do Outlaw, Slaughter, and then I'll do Feral. But of course, if you guys want me to do Dark after these next 2 videos, then, you know, put that in the comments or whatever. But anyway, I've said what I need to say. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and cue the music.